Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we're going to be learning Scarborough Fair. So with this song, I asked Evan to base his arrangement off my friend Dan Holloway's, simply for the sheer fact that Dan is an amazing arranger. So if you've been following our lessons for a while, you know in the past I've transposed quite a few of Dan's arrangements onto the ukulele. So if you'd like to check out Dan's original arrangement, I'll put a link to it in the description box below. And also, if you play fingerstyle guitar, he runs a lessons site very similar to ours, but just for guitar. So I'll also link that in the description box below as well. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this lesson. So with this lesson, I've got it split into two parts. So in this lesson, which is the part 1 lesson, we're going to be learning the first third of the tune. If you'd like to learn the remainder of the song, you can click this link right here to check out the entire lesson, or go to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for Scarborough Fair. Now on that page, you'll also be able to get the tabs that you can print off and follow along with as a PDF file, as well as access the on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into the lesson. So the first thing I want to talk about is the form. So this song has a 26 bar form. So in this lesson, we're going to be learning theme 1, so the first 26 bars. After that is theme 2, which again, 26 bars. And then theme 3, which is 26 bars. And then there will be an outro, which is 8 bars to finish out the tune. But here's the thing, once you learn theme 1, you pretty much have a strong foundation for all the other themes that follow it. Because what happens is that the other themes introduce variations and changes here and there. So you pretty much have the bulk of the tune learned once you get theme 1 down. Now the next thing I want to point out is that this song is in 3/4. So we have 3 beats per measure. And we're going to be counting out the rhythms as we go through this. So if you're new to understanding rhythmic notation, then check out this link right here, and it will take you to a lesson that gives you a strong overview of the fundamentals behind understanding rhythmic notation. And the other thing I want to mention too is the right hand picking. So we're going to be bouncing between a 4-finger and a 3-finger approach for finger picking. So 4-finger approach means that we use our thumb for string 4, index for string 3, middle for string 2, ring for string 1, and then a 3-finger approach would have us simplify it so that our thumb gets string 4 and 3, index would get string 2, middle would get string 1. So if you're new to understanding or using 3 and 4-finger fingerpicking approaches, then definitely check out our fingerpicking concepts course. It covers all of that in great detail. All right, so let's go ahead and kick into this lesson. So theme number 1. The way we're going to learn this is by breaking it into phrases. So mainly 3-bar or 4-bar phrases. It's going to be much easier to tackle that way. So here is the first phrase. It's going to be the first 4 bars, and it sounds like this. So if you have a keen ear, you probably already heard that it's the same 2 bars repeated. So if we listen to just the first 2 bars, sounds like that. And we can hear the rhythm is straight 8th notes throughout. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... So we have an even rhythm throughout. So let's just tackle the first bar, which sounds like this. Okay, so we're basically going to be playing out of this E minor chord, which is our stock staircase chord, and then going to this A7, again our stock A7 chords. So go ahead and take that ring finger, put it on the 4th fret of string 3. We're going to play that note, followed by the open A, and then we're going to take our middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret of string 3, and we're going to pull off to the 1st fret. So you want to go ahead and have your index finger already on the 1st fret of string 3. Okay? And after that, we follow up with the open A, and then back to the first fret of string 3. So you can see that we're literally bouncing between string 3 and string 1. So again, we have 4 on string 3, open A, going to 2 on string 3, pull off to 1, so pick 1 time, and then string 1, open, and back to string 3, first fret. So together you have, one more time. And we want to keep that rhythm steady, so eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so let's give it a shot. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Nice. Now for our second bar, it's going to sound like this. So you notice that my ring finger stays anchored on that 4th fret of string 3. So we're going to start with that note, and then take your middle finger, put it on the 3rd fret of string 2, and you're going to do what you did in the first bar, leave the index finger on the 2nd fret, so the fret behind it, because we're going to do a pull off. Okay, so 3 to 2, so you pluck string 2 once. So far we have string 3, then we have 3 to 2 on string 2. Okay, then you're going to repeat that, and that finishes up that bar. So string 3, and then 3 to 2 on string 2. Okay, so together you have, in the same 8th note rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so string 3, pull off, string 3, pull off. Okay, so let's try that second bar. You can see too, I'm just leaving that index finger anchored there as well. Okay, so let's try it together. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Awesome. And if we tie bar 1 into 2 together, here we go. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Nice. So that's going to get repeated again for measures 3 and 4. So let's try 1 through 4 together. Here we go. 2 and 3 and 1 and 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 2 and 3 and. Okay, so not too hard so far. Now let's take a look at our next phrase, and our next phrase is going to be 3 bars in length, and it sounds like this. Alright, so let's go ahead and break down the first bar. So we're starting again on string 3 on the 4th fret, and we're going to hit that note. It's going to last a quarter note for the first beat. So we have 1, and then we're going to follow it up with 8th notes, 2 and 3 and. So that's literally going to be going string 4 open, and then the 4th fret of string 3, and then repeat 4, and then the 4th fret of string 3. So together you have string 3 for a quarter, 1, and then string 4, string 3, string 4, string 3. So the rhythm, 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay? And you can add a little bit of vibrato onto that 4th fret. I think it sounds really cool. If you want to learn how to do vibrato, we cover it in extreme detail in this lesson right here. So let's see if we can try that bar together. Really simple. So here we go. 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and. Okay, one more time. 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and. Okay, so after that, our next bar is going to sound like this. Okay, so for this one, you can see I'm going straight into that staircase for E minor. I'm going to pluck strings 1 and 2, and then I'm going to follow it up with string 3. I'm going to lift the index finger up, play the open A, and then play string 2. Okay, so again, I'm plucking 1 and 2, playing string 3, lifting the index up, playing the open A, and then playing string 2. Now the rhythm's a little bit different. We have 1, 2, and 3. So if I count it out, it sounds like 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. And if I call out string names, I have pluck, 3, 1, 2. All right, so let's give that one a shot. 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3. Awesome. So let's see if we can backtrack. Let's try bar 5 and 6 together. Here we go. 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3. Awesome. Now our last bar to finish this phrase will sound like this. Okay, so for this one, I like to take the index and the middle finger to make this D. We don't need the full shape of D yet. We will get there in a second. But I'm going to take the index, put it on string 3, fret 2, and the middle finger underneath it, so string 2, fret 2. And I can hit just those two strings together, 3 and 2. I'm going to follow that up by playing string 3, taking my ring, put it on the 3rd fret of string 2, lift that up, play 2nd fret of string 2, and then the open G. Okay, so together I have hitting 3 and 2 together, and then I can go string 3, 3rd fret of string 2, lift it up, 2nd fret of string 2, open G. So our rhythm is 1, 2, and 3, and. All right, so let's give that one a shot. 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and. Okay, and I think Evan does it with laying the index flat, so that's another option too if you want to do that. So let's see if we can try that entire phrase together. So bars 5, 6, and 7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay, and let's go a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay, so now let's tackle our next phrase. So this is going to be 4 bars in length. And you're going to notice something. So let me play it for you. So it's pretty much the same as the first 4 bars. The only difference is the last hit on the 4th bar of this phrase. So that would be bar 11. So the first 3 bars of this phrase are the same as bars 1 through 3. So you're doing the exact same stuff. Okay, when you get to the last bar for this phrase, it's going to be. So let's break down what's happening there. So it starts the same, where we're playing 4th fret of string 3, and then we're going to do a pull off 3 to 2 on string 2, back to the 4th fret on string 3. But here's where it changes. You're going to take that middle finger, put it back onto the 3rd fret of string 2. You're going to pluck strings 3 and 2 together, so that's 4 and 3, and you're going to slide up a whole step. Okay? So you just want to practice that slide going up a whole step. So you're going from 4, 3 to 6, 5. Okay? So together it sounds like 1 and 2 and 3 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so 8th notes throughout. Let's try that bar together. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our next phrase. It's going to be 3 bars in length, and it sounds like this. All right, so let's go ahead and break that one down. So it starts with a G chord, and we have this cool little hammer on. So make the basic G, lift the middle finger up, and what we're going to do is we're going to strum and then hammer on to the 1st string to that 2nd fret. So after that, we're going to play string 4, string 3, and then stretch with your pinky to the 5th fret of string 1. Okay? So if you're new to playing stretch chords or stretch phrases, I'll put a link in the description box below to a lesson that has 3 exercises on increasing left hand reach. So together we have 1 and 2 and 3. So that last note is a quarter note. So we have strum and hammer on, string 4, string 3, stretch, 5 on 1. Okay, so let's give that one a shot. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, our next bar is going to sound like this. So again, a stretch chord. So this one's going to be a variation on E minor. So to form this chord, take the middle, put it on the 4th fret of string 3, index goes on the 3rd fret of string 2, pinky is on 7 on string 1, and the G will be open. So we're going to go ahead and strum this chord, and then play string 4 open. Take the ring, put it on the 5th fret of string 1, so you got to get rid of the pinky. You're going to pluck 1 and 2 together, and then string 4. So you have strum, 4, pluck, 4. Okay? So let's give that one a shot. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Nice. So the trick here is going to be getting that transition down. So you want to practice going from this G with the stretch to this E minor. So let's talk about that transition. So I want you to watch what happens with my left hand. The first thing that you notice is that that pinky literally just slides up to 7. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do. Just slide up to 7. And when you're sliding, you're going to flip-flop these 2 fingers, the 1st and the 3rd. So if you make the G, all that's happening here is if you make just the standard G chord, I want you just to practice going from the standard G to 4 and 3. So 4 on string 3, 3 on string 2. Okay? Now if you put that together with the pinky, that movement happens in unison. Okay, so that's the trick about this. Is that flip-flop happens in unison. Okay, so you got to think of 2 things at the same time. You have to think of moving the pinky up to 7, and then you have to think about moving to this flip-flop at the same time. Okay, so remove all of the plucking and stuff out of the chords and just practice that transition. It's a bit tricky, but once you get it down, it's not too hard. And one thing I'm doing too is you can always kind of do a partial bar for this E minor. So meaning that I can lay flat on the 3rd fret strings 1 and 2. Okay, that may make it a little bit more comfortable for the left hand. So let's try those 2 bars together. Here we go. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so let's look at the last bar for this phrase. This is bar 14. Very simple compared to what we just tackled. So go back to basic G. You're going to strum that, then go up a whole step, becomes an A7. You're going to strum that, and then play string 2. Okay, so quarter notes. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's try that bar together. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So very simple to finish it up. But let's backtrack. Let's try those 3 bars together. Here we go. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2 and to speed it up a little bit, sounds like. Really, really cool passage right there. All right, so this is a good kind of halfway point for the theme 1. So let's go ahead and just backtrack and play through everything thus far. So I'm going to go ahead and just count us off. I'm not going to count through it so we can just hear it a little bit better. If I go a little bit too fast, here are the directions on slowing down the YouTube player. And let's go ahead and kick into it. 1, 2, 3. Pretty cool stuff, right? So let's go ahead and look at the second half now for theme 1. So for our second half, we're starting on bar 15, and it's going to be a 4-bar phrase. And again, it's going to sound very familiar. So let me go ahead and play it for you, and then we'll break down what variations happen. Two variations, on the first hit and on the last hit. So let's go ahead and look at the first hit. So bar 15, it's going to start with a strum of the E minor this time. So the easy way for me to do this is to strum down with the nail of the index finger and then come up with my middle finger and pluck the open A. And then you're back into the same phrase to finish that first bar. Okay? So that's the easy way. Strum down, and then lift the index up and use the middle to pluck string 1. So let's try that bar together. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay? Now the bar after that is going to be the same as before. And then the bar after that's the same as before. And then the last bar to finish this phrase will have the last 2 notes different. Sounds like this. If I play it right, let me try again. Okay, so it has a hammer on at the end on string 1. So here's the trick with this last bar. Notice my index finger, it's going to go ahead and lay flat as a partial bar. So it's going to be on string 1 and 2, fret 2. So partial bar laying flat. Now, I didn't actually link, if you're new to partial bars and getting the correct form, especially for the left hand behind the neck, I'm going to put a link to a lesson on proper left hand form, covers all this in detail. So I'll put that in the description box below. But go ahead and lay with a partial bar, and we're going to start with the 4th fret of string 3, and then do 3 to 2 on string 2, just like before, back to 4th fret on string 3. And here's the change. You're going to play string 1, and that's the 2nd fret, partial bar, hammer on with the pinky to 5. Okay? So 8th notes, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay? Let's give that one a shot. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Awesome. So that's the only changes. So we had the first hit, which was the strum of the E minor, and the last hit on the 4th bar of the phrase, which is 2 to 5 on string 1, hammer on. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next phrase. The next phrase is going to be 3 bars in length, and it sounds like this. It's got a really cool, yet a bit tricky slide. So check out the first bar. Okay, sounds like that. Here's the hard part about it, is this slide. So it goes back to that stretch E minor that we played a little bit ago. You're going to strum that, play string 4 open. You're going to pluck 1 and 2 together, but this time you're plucking 3 and 7, so you don't lift the pinky up just yet. So you pluck 3 and 7, strings 1 and 2. Here's the hard part. You have to slide the pinky down to 5 after you pluck. So the trick with this is that this can't move. This needs to be anchored. And that's going to be a hard thing because most folks, when they do slide and stuff, they're used to fingers moving. So these fingers are probably going to be moving a little bit, but that we can't have happen. So you need to work on making this independent of this. So this anchored, this independent, this moves only. Okay? So you want to pluck 1 and 2 and just practice sliding from 7 to 5 with the pinky. But you see no movement happens there. So no movement at all. Okay? So that is going to occur on the end of 2, and the 5 gets held out for the third beat. So together you have 1, 2, and 3. All right, so let's give that a shot. 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. From here, we're going to G5. It's basically that stretch chord that we did earlier, but this time around, instead of doing this full G chord, making it a bit of an awkward stretch, we can do the G as a partial bar. So lay the index flat on strings 1, 2, and 3 on the 2nd fret, add the middle to the 3rd fret of string 2, and then use your pinky for 5 on string 1. And our G, of course, is open. So we're going to strum that chord, then play string 3, lift the pinky up, pluck 1 and 2, and then play string 4. So rhythm-wise, we have 1, 2, and 3. So again, strum, 3, pluck, 4. So don't forget to lift up. So we have strum, 3, pluck, 4. Now if you watch Evan's performance, what he does is he'll switch to the basic G. I find it transitioning in that spot like he does, I find it difficult for my playing style, so I stick out of the partial bar for this bar. And when I go to the next bar, that's when I transition to the basic G. So that's easier for me, but you can experiment transitioning there or in the next bar. So up to you. So the hard thing here, besides doing the slide with the pinky, is going from the first measure, which is measure 19, into measure 20. So that's where your practice is going to want to be, going from this one to that one. And you can see basically after you slide down to 5, your transition is a flip-flop again. So you just want to literally go from here, the last hit of the first measure, to the first hit of the next measure. So just get rid of playing anything else, just practice that. You can always put this stuff in a time frame, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just to get the muscle memory down. Okay? So a little tricky with that, but if you practice this way, you'll get it down. So let's look at the last measure for this phrase, and it sounds like this. So let's break that one down. So we're back to basic G. You're going to strum that, then play the open A, so lift the middle finger up, then play string 3, and then string 2. So you have 1, 2, and 3. So strum, 1, 3, 2. So let's try together. 2, 3. Strum, 2, and 3. Okay, and let's try that entire phrase together. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Nice. So put together a little bit faster, it sounds like. Really, really beautiful phrasing. So now we're into our home stretch. We have 2 more phrases. So the next one is going to be 2 bars in length. So we're breaking out of the 3 and 4 bar phrase. And this one, we're going to make the stock D chord, and we're going to use index, middle, and ring for this. Okay? So let me go ahead and play these 2 bars, and then we'll break it down. They're not very hard at all. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening with this one. So first we're going to start with a strum. We can strum the full chord, or we can strum 4 to 2. Okay, and what I like to do after I strum is I like to do a pull off. Evan doesn't do this. He plucks the note, which is the open E. I think it's easier, or simplifies it, at least for my playing style, to do a pull off. So I like to go strum 4 to 2, and then pull off with the ring to the open E. That works for me, but if you want, you can pluck the open E. Does not matter. So again, I have strum 4 to 2, pull off to the open E. After that, we're bouncing between 4 and 3. So we're literally just going to go 4, 3, 4, 3. Okay, so keep those other fingers intact. So you have pull off 4, 3, 4, 3. Okay, so again, strum, pull off 4, 3, 4, 3. And that's going to be all eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so let's give that bar a shot. 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, now our next bar is basically the same thing. Only difference is the first hit. The first hit, we're just going to hit string 3 by itself, and then we're going back into 4, 3, 4, 3. Okay? So when you hit string 3 by itself, you can put a lot of vibrato into that note. It gives it a lot of character. So that bar by itself sounds like. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay, so let's try that second bar by itself. 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay, and if we try those two bars together, we get 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and. Okay, now after this, we're going into a variation of that E minor phrase that we pick out of. So here's a thing that you want to do. You want to take the middle finger and you want to go up to the 4th fret of string 3, and then use the index finger for the 2nd fret of string 1. So go ahead and just try that. It's a little awkward with this stretch, but it's going to be easy because after we play this one bar, we're back into the D. So if we use the middle finger to slide up for that 4th fret, we can literally slide back down to play the D. So let me play this last phrase to finish up theme 1. It's 3 bars, and you can notice what I just pointed out as I play through these last 3 bars, okay? Sounds like this. Okay, so easy action when we use the middle finger going up and then back. So let's break down the first bar again. So we have middle on 4 on string 3, index on 2 on string 1. So we're going to play string 3 by itself, and then followed up with open 4, 2nd fret on string 1, index finger, and then open 4. But the rhythm is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so quarter, eighth, quarter. So again, we have 1, 2, and 3. So let's give it a shot. I'll call out strings. 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 4. And I'll call out rhythm last time. 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So after this, slide with that middle finger back down to the 2nd fret. Make the full D. You're going to strum all 4 strings. Then you're going to play string 3. Use the pinky to play the 3rd fret of string 2. And then play the 4th string. Okay? So you have strum 2 and 3. Okay, so strum 3, 2, 4. That was calling out strings. So strum, string 3, add the pinky to 3 on string 2, and then the 4th string. Okay, let's give that one a shot. 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and our last bar, lift the pinky up. We're going to strum 4 to 2. Lift the ring finger up, play the open E, then play string 4, and then play string 3. So you have strum 0, 4, 3. So I'm strumming 4 to 2. Lift the ring up, play the open E, play string 4, string 3. 1, 2, and 3. Let's give it a shot. 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, now let's try those 3 bars together. And this is measure 24, 25, 26. So remember, start middle and index. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Nice. So we played through the first half. Let's play through the second half. So we're starting on measure 15 and we're going all the way to 26. And I'm going to play it a little bit faster tempo. So again, if you want to slow down the YouTube video, you can. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nice, nice. And if we put everything together, this is where we get all 26 bars. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pretty cool stuff. So really, really pretty sounding song and a great arrangement. Evan did a fantastic job on this one. So guys, that's everything for this lesson, and we're going to pick up with theme 2 and theme 3 plus the outro, so the rest of the tune in the part 2 lesson. So if you want to check out the part 2 lesson, you can click this link right here, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for Scarborough Fair. Don't forget that on that page you'll be able to get the tabs that you can print off and follow along as a PDF format and access that on-screen tab viewer, so that really cool interactive tab player where you watch the tab scroll across in real time, highlight bars, loop sections, slow it down, all that cool stuff that makes learning the song that much easier. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in part 2. Take care.